come back. Then we'll go to Attorney Jojo on Italpinas. Tell us about the construction and all the properties that you're working on now, and how are you different from the others actually?
Yeah, well, Romolo and I, as business partners in Italpinas, we're
Romolo being the main architect.
Yes, that's right. We're interested in a couple of aspects of this actually. One of them is the architecture itself, how to make it green, but also what green really means, because I think it's a word that's thrown around a lot, and it's very important to us to be clear about what we mean when we say that we're being environmentally friendly. To make it concise, what we do with all of our projects is to ingrain these design features in the very bones of the buildings, so that the resulting product behaves in a particular way, performs in a particular way.
Give an example of that.
For example,
yes. What are your projects?
We have
it in Cagayan de Oro, no?
Yes, we have an existing project in Cagayan de Oro called Primavera Residences. Another one going up now in Cagayan de Oro also, under construction, called Primavera City. And a third site that we're launching soon in Santo Tomas, Batangas.
Okay. In Primavera, the first project, what were the green concepts that were incorporated?
For example, one major demand for electricity in our climate is air conditioning. But when the building, as Romolo designed this particular building, allows air to flow in a particular way, to come in from laterally from the outside, for a warmer air to rise through the middle of an atrium in the center.
The building is on top of a hill?
Elevated? It is at elevation,
okay.
But it's mainly the architectural features that I've mentioned that causes air to flow in a particular way and to lower the temperature inside.
How did you achieve that?
Well,
Romolo here is one of the best architects in the world, and is a
we think so.
cum laude degree in architecture from University
and
of
both
Rome.
were recently covered in what, National Geographic?
Yeah, actually yes. We have been featured, Jojo and I, in, if I'm not wrong, 2014 in National Geographic Asia for our innovation in real estate, which I would say it's quite difficult to innovate in real estate because we have been building buildings in the same way since 2,000 years ago. So it's not easy.
So how are you different, Romolo?
As Jojo said, we conceptualize our building, we design our building using passive green features. Passive green features.
Passive green.
A green building can be green, let's say, so in two different ways. One is conceptualizing the building in the same way as been conceptualized in the past, but just adding a lot of technological features like special lighting, special aircon, special film on the windows,
special
but all
glass,
those things. Correct, special glass.
Then you get a LEED certification.
Correct.
And that makes you green.
Correct.
When actually you're not yet green.
Actually, you are green, but it's quite expensive. So your building can be afforded by the highest part of the population, let's call the rich ones. But Jojo and I always thought that the real green building should be delivered to the middle class, so everyone can afford and live in a green building. So to do that, we use green passive strategy, which are strategies embedded in the design. So what we do, we use softwares to simulate the behavior of the building during the design phase, so that we increase natural ventilation, we create shading of the facade, all strategies that will have the building perform better when it's built. In this way, for example, in the Philippines, as Jojo said, the main issue here is aircon. In the Philippines, aircon consumption accounts for 60% of total power consumption. So if we are able to reduce aircon use in a unit, we can achieve a very good result. For example, in Primavera Residences, we reduce aircon use for more than 32%. This means that unit owners save around 20% of energy bill. So this is a way that we use. Of course, we also work on water recycling, all those things.
Do you use like nanotechnology
aircon
on your
is
windows?
about 50 pesos an hour. One and a half
correct.
horsepower aircon is 50 pesos an hour. And you can use that for 8 hours. That's about 400 pesos. multiply that by 30 days.
Correct.
That's 1,200.
Correct. Our unit owners are experiencing a saving of in Cagayan de Oro of around more than 6,000 to 10,000 pesos per
month?
year. No, in
Every-
total per year.
every year?
Yeah, because the units are quite small, so
yeah.
the consumption is not too high. But at the end, we're talking about a studio type.
Do you
I
also
noticed-
do you also use innovative technology, like
more on
nanotechnology
the
your
software
windows?
side, not too much in the construction side, because we like to say more software, less hardware. Because when you use high technological feature, you have to import them from abroad, and this costs money. It's also a very high footprint. So what we do, we reduce the importation of high technological
How did you
feature.
incorporate software? Each unit has a microchip?
No, the software during the design stage.
Design, yeah.
There will be some video that you can feature and to show how we
Yeah.
design
Yeah.
our buildings.
Because actually, the Philippine architecture is one of the best in the world, the Bahay Kubo. It's well ventilated.
I agree.
It's elevated from the ground.
I agree.
For your utensils, for your machinery,
agree.
for your livestock, for your pigs and chicken. It's
Yeah.
very nice. Have you lived in a Bahay Kubo? It's very cool. And the flooring is made on bamboo. So very natural air
Correct.
conditioning.
I would say that Bahay Kubo is really our role model to design structure.
Yeah.
So we like to say we didn't invent anything. We are just rediscovering what has been forgotten.
Yeah. So how did you transmute Bahay Kubo into a building?
As you said, we increase natural ventilation like in the Bahay Kubo.
Yeah.
We try to use material sourced from the place
Yeah.
so that we reduce the importation of material from abroad.
Yeah.
And these are also shading, because also Bahay Kubo has a very well shading system. These are the features that we use. So very effective, very simple, and affordable.
So in your
accessible.
buildings, you have very wide and lengthy awning? No.
Yes, in all our buildings are characterized by having an inner courtyard inside the
A
building,
courtyard,
which works as a natural chimney. So the colder air comes from the bottom side, and since the hotter air is lighter, it goes up and sucks the colder. So we always
That's
have
a very Italian design.
yeah.
Tuscany.
Actually, it's actually Italians, but also as Filipinos. I mean, people in
Maybe
the past before
courtyard
aircon, they know
that is
how to.
open from the top to the bottom.
Correct.
And there's a garden,
Correct.
a small nook where you can have your breakfast or
Correct.
merienda.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. And plenty of garden. Yeah.
So we are incorporating these features in modern Italian design. And also I would like to say that I am the architect who conceptualized the building, but we work very close with Filipino architect and Filipino engineers who are entitled to design the
How are
plans.
Filipino architects and engineers?
Sorry?
How are Filipino?
Very good.
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah, okay.
They're very open to innovations, and it's a pleasure to
Yeah.
collaborate with the Filipino
And Jojo,
architects.
what is your contribution in making your buildings green?
Well, the architecture is definitely on Romolo's expertise. One thing that interests me personally in this work is the matter of where we build.
Yeah.
Because in a way, it's also in some way innovation when we try to invert a certain presumption that might be prevalent, especially if coming out of Manila or Metro Cebu. You think that, in the province, they're not ready for this kind of idea, or that building looks a little too advanced, it looks a little too refined.
urban, yeah.
But that's exactly the
To the
kind of
point
thing
of
that we
being
enjoy
oppressive, no?
going against. Sorry?
Because some buildings are so advanced, they become oppressive.
True,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
yes,
what
I-
you're trying to do is actually bringing the look of urban to the provinces.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
how your buildings look?
Yes, in fact, that's why we're focusing very much on it's difficult to choose the word. The province has a certain connotation, right?
Yes.
We've toyed around with the periphery.
Cagayan de Oro, how many
but
percent urban? 60?
It's a very urbanized place.
Yeah. So it's
but
no
what
longer a
attracted
province, no?
us-
It's no longer provincial nor rural.
I would agree with you. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
always correct to
But
use
it's
the
in a
word
very
province.
nice location. You're on an elevated place.
Yes,
But
our particular
your airport sits on a plateau.
The new airport is on the coast,
Oh, on the
but
coast, yeah.
our site for both of our projects now in Cagayan de Oro is on a plateau in Uptown
Plateau.
CDO.
You're how many meters or feet above sea level?
It's significantly higher than sea level.
About 20 meters?
I think more than 20. I
More,
don't know the exact
oh.
number, but
110
Yeah.
meters?
so the-
Meters?
Meters above the sea level.
Or just like the elevation of Baguio? Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
think
So the climate is very cool.
it's cooler
Yeah,
than downtown.
And there's plenty of greenery.
Yes,
Yes.
it's also flood free.
Flat free because you're 110 meters. Huh?
Yes, yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how about cost? Since you have to bring materials upstairs, uphill,
The fact that it's uphill is negligible.
unnegligible.
Yeah, because of as we described it, because of the fact that our innovation and our green features, so to speak, are really design driven,
Yeah.
and therefore brought about at the design stage with software and manifested at that stage, we can get these results: high performing buildings, energy savings,
Yeah.
without increasing the cost. Because once you do that, it also sends a message to the market that yes,
You are-
efficiency is good, but it's only for the elite.
You are able
that's
to
also wrong.
institute green design without adding cost. Because normally being green is plus 50% of cost.
Oh, we disagree with
30%
that.
of cost.
That should not be the way.
It didn't happen that way,
No.
Romulo?
Correct. As Jojo said, we are breaking a stereotype that green buildings must be expensive. Green buildings can be accessible. And that's what we have proven already with Primavera Residences, where we sold several hundred units.
And your buildings are certified.
By-
What certification? By who?
By EDGE. EDGE is a green rating system developed by the World Bank and delivered by IFC.
It's EDGE.
Yes, correct.
It is
Different
similar
from
to
LEED.
LEED.
Correct. It's different from LEED. It's specifically designed and studied for developing country and countries with similar climate characteristic of the Philippines.
Yeah. So even with the certification of EDGE, how much is it per square meter for a residential condominium? 20 or 28 square meter in Primavera.
In the first place, they're in a very nice location. You're in a high-end location trying to serve a middle market. No?
Perfect.
Because the subdivision is the best in Cagayan de Oro.
Correct. We are in a very well master plan community in Cagayan de Oro called Pueblo
You are
de
in the
Oro.
Forbes Park of Cagayan de Oro.
Correct. I would say that.
So how much is that going for per square meter?
You know,
right now?
prices are change compared to in relation to
A range.
The range would say now we are between 80 to 100,000 pesos per square meter.
That's quite high for
That's pretty high.
for the place, no?
No, but you have to consider that our competitors are selling for a much higher price. So
Your competitor is selling at how much?
yeah, more than 100 to 10, 120. So you have to consider also that we started to sell in 2010 at 45,000 pesos per
So you
square
are now
meter.
more than double
More than double in 5 years.
because of the design, the uniqueness of architecture, and
Correct.
product
Correct.
development.
And of course, because the demand is high. So
Alright.
you
I mean,
can
people are lining up to buy your building, your units.
we are selling quite well. We are happy about it.
Okay, we're going to cut to a short break. You're watching Biznews. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So Romolo, what is the average cost, average price of your condo unit at Primavera?
Most of the units cost between 2 to 3 million pesos per unit. That's the average
And
price.
the average size, they range from
Let's say 25 square meter until 50, 60, because you can also join different
I
units.
can join.
So from
And you
studio
say
to a...
and you say the units are nearly sold out, no?
Yes,
the
Primavera
first,
Residences are sold out.
the first
building.
300 units.
Yes, correct. 320 units sold out. Now we are developing Primavera City. We already sold more than 90% of building A of phase 1. Now we are selling building B.
And
which is
building
sold
A is how many units are?
around 130 units, something like that.
And
Residential.
eventually, in Primavera City, which means actually green, di ba, or spring, no?
Primavera means in Italian spring, yes.
Spring, yeah. You will have how many buildings?
In Primavera City, there will be 7 buildings. Which
On a-
one is going to be high
On
rise?
a land, how much?
A
How big?
little less than 1 hectare.
On one hectare, 7 buildings.
Yes.
But these buildings are not high rise, medium
I
rise.
would say medium rise, yes, 11 stories.
11
all our buildings are mixed use. So in the case of Primavera City, we have underground parking,
Yeah.
ground floor commercial, second and third floor offices,
Yeah.
all residences from the 4th floor to 11th floor.
So you don't need to leave your building.
Sorry?
You don't need to leave your building to work, to watch a movie, to
Correct,
eat.
correct. You can
stay
you
in your
can
building
you can
most of the time.
work, play, and
And
dine.
Primavera is how far from the city center?
Maybe 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
15
We are
minutes.
located uptown
Yeah.
Cagayan, in a very well planned community.
There's a public transport.
Public transport, taxis, jeepneys, also I think buses.
By the
But
way, Romulo, Jojo,
Yeah.
you have the same rhyme in your name, no? Jojo, Romulo. How did the two of you meet?
Ah,
You,
well, Romolo
you
was
were
a-
educated in Australia and you were educated in Italy, no? So how did the two of you meet?
Through the father.
They're so far apart. They are
well, there's
so,
another layer actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because Romolo was studying in the U.S., correct?
Yes.
And yeah, he met Filipinos there,
Yeah,
including some family friends of ours.
yeah,
And the message that they gave to him was, "Hey, you're a talented young architect.
yeah.
If you want to be in a vibrant, forward-moving setting, then you should look at the Philippines."
That's correct.
Yeah.
And then I came, I met Jojo, and we share the same advocacy of sustainable development.
Well, since ancient times, Italy had always had among the best architectural technology, no?
Yeah, also architects. We
Also
are well
sewage
known.
system, drainage system, water system. We took it from the Romans.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct. You know, we still in Italy we still are
Aqueduct,
using
the aqueduct.
aqueduct from the
And
Roman
the
Empire.
prototype of Rizal Memorial is the
Yeah.
Colosseum,
Correct.
yeah, which is now being renovated. No?
Yeah, that's correct.
Entrance used to be free, now you have to be charged for it. Yeah. Then in building basilicas and chapels
Yes.
of God, you also have number one. No?
Of course.
Yeah, yeah. And the public market design, Agora,
Correct.
originated from you. No?
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
So other places that you're looking at, Santo Tomas, Batangas. Why there?
Yeah, why Santo Tomas?
Why?
That's a very unique site. We think we're looking forward to developing.
It's also
that
a
one.
mountain site.
It is at elevation also. It has a good view of the mountains behind it, especially. But the thing that excites us
Does it
most
face
about
a bay, no?
No. The thing that excites us most about that site is the fact that it's coming into itself as a hub for southern Luzon, which is of course especially relevant now that Manila is, it is what it is. It's a little bit overcrowded to say the least. No, it's also moving to the south and to the north.
What's the infrastructure that's there that's making it
There's
more
the
unique?
South Expressway.
Yes, that's right. There's the existing expressway.
And
the exit is
the expressway, the end of the expressway is named after Santo Tomas, no?
the exit. Yeah, the
Yeah,
exit
Santo
is the
Tomas,
Santo Tomas exit,
yeah, yeah.
which leads directly to our site. There's also the extension of the expressway going to the east, which joins the existing expressway at
And
Santo
Santo
Tomas.
Tomas will be linked in 5 years to Tagaytay City.
Very well
Yeah.
connected. Yeah, it will be a very well connected.
Two developers
place.
want to connect it. One is San Miguel, and the others may be Ayala. No? Yeah.
What's the development that you're going to have there?
It will also be a mixed-use development with
Mid-rise?
Yes, mid-rise with commercial space.
How
Residential
large is your
also.
property there?
We're starting with a smaller property, which will be the first phase. It will be similar in scale to what we've done in Cagayan de Oro.
You're
So-
targeting middle income. Why? There's SM that actually targets the lower mass. You're targeting middle. Are there a lot of players targeting middle?
Well, I'm not. It depends on what we mean. Middle can be a very blunt word,
Yeah,
yeah.
What
Is
we're-
your definition? Because that's what you say that
In
you're
fact,
targeting.
Bet,
That's true, but
the
our-
Filipino is middle class. $3,500 per capita per year.
Yeah, yes.
That's middle class.
Yes. So
Because poor is $1 a day or $365. And the income of the Filipino is 10 times poor.
yes.
So middle class.
Yes. So it's a broad category to begin
Yeah.
with. But in terms of the way that we think of our target market, that of course has the aspect of
And the
middle
really
versus-
rich is about 5 million people.
Right.
And the ultra rich is only 5,000 people. Yeah.
So a lot of the development for the large ones like SM are on the lower, more mass. But you
I
are
think
looking
Jojo,
at
the appeal of the Santo Tomas is the countryside and the mountain view. Ba? What's the name of the mountain range there?
Well, I'll explain to you
Yeah.
how we see our target market. What we're going for is not only a particular bandwidth in terms of spending power,
Yeah.
but also a particular attitude that we feel the market as a whole, the audience in the Philippines is beginning to grasp. So like we said earlier, the meaning of green. I think the market is beginning to be much more sophisticated in what they expect of what green is. So it's no longer enough for the market to say, oh, they put a label on it, and okay, it's asserted that this is environmentally friendly.
Kasi
But
dati,
to go
when
further
you,
than that and to
kasi
understand
Jojo,
how
dati
it
when you say
works,
green, you
yeah.
just collect dirty water, recycle it, that's green. You clean your sewage, that's green.
Yeah,
Now it's
yeah.
really the one that you have is talagang green.
Yes, and
Diba?
we want to be challenged on
Yeah,
that. We
yeah.
want the market to ask us, what's
It's not
so green about
tokenism
it?
green.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the profile
Yeah,
of
so-
your
So the appeal of
target.
Santo Tomas.
Yeah, well, that's part of the profile. No? People who are beginning to appreciate this, people who understand how the buildings perform and how they work. But that kind of understanding, that profile, it could occur in more than one bandwidth, in terms of just socioeconomics. So there's also that aspect.
Now, why should I buy a unit from you in Santo Tomas? What is there in Santo Tomas? Santo Tomas is what, 100 kilometers from Manila?
Yes.
Okay.
It's-
It's about 2.5 hours driving distance if you take the expressway.
Yes, that's right.
And Santo Tomas is how far from Nasugbu?
I think it's about equidistant to the southern end of Batangas. as to
Equidistant.
Metro Manila, yeah, roughly.
So another 90 kilometers, man?
Possibly,
Nasugbu?
maybe another 100. Yeah, but I'm estimating. But I think
But in your place, Santo Tomas, anong elevation niya?
I'm not sure exactly what the elevation is, but
But also a
again,
mountain.
It's a plateau.
A plateau?
Yeah, with a mountainous backdrop.
Yeah.
But why Santo Tomas? I think our definition of the center will change.
Yeah.
At the moment, we're describing it as south of Metro Manila. But as the metro area itself begins to grow, and as our idea of
Bali,
what the
Santo
center
Tomas is the
changes,
next great city of the South, Luzon.
Well, there's a lot of growth to happen, we believe. In Santo
Ay, in
Tomas.
Batangas ba, what is the capital?
Batangas City is the
Batangas City. Your dad is from there, di ba? Batangas. Yeah. But you don't have the accent of a Batangueño.
maybe I should try to develop it. I should try to
Yeah.
pick it up. Yeah.
And Batangas is one of the richest provinces of the Philippines, no? Nearly every family is a trading or a merchant class.
Yes, it's
very
also
entrepreneurial.
there's a lot of
very
activity
proud
there.
of their race. Yeah. Yeah.
Tony, just to add to
Yeah.
that, Santo Tomas will be the fourth city
Uh-huh.
of Batangas province. We have the
Fourth city.
capital, Batangas City, Lipa, and Tanawan City. And the legislation is now moving through Congress. And what's significant with Santo Tomas, it is the northernmost part of Batangas. And the city
Northernmost meaning farthest from Manila.
closest to Manila.
Closest to Manila.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And you can really, on a good day, get to Santo Tomas in less than an hour from
Less than an
Magallanes.
hour.
Yeah,
You
on a
take the
good day.
expressway, no?
When you said 2 hours, that's from Quezon City.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, from Magallanes, less than an hour.
yeah,
Because once you exit, the start tollway is already there.
Yes.
And the Santo Tomas, Batangas.
yes, and our site is also, we picked that site because it's also a Pueblo de Oro development.
But that's a coastal development, di ba?
Pueblo de
Resort.
Oro of the same owners of landowners in Cagayan de Oro.
Yeah.
We work very
Kay
closely
Gili din yan,
with the
Luchanco,
group of
yeah.
Gili Luchanco. And we're trying
I
to...
thought it was it belonged to Burgos.
No, that's Landco.
Landco. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So very nice appeal of Batangas.
Yes.
Yeah, because you look like a hacendero owning a very small piece of land, and yet enjoying the scenery and the surrounding and the fineness of the people.
Or not a very small piece of land.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, we're going to cut this short break. You're watching Business. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So one insight for choosing Santo Tomas, Batangas is the eco zones and industrial estates that's surrounding it. So you will actually be the place to go to for all these locators. That's one of the key reasons you chose that.
That's true. Yeah, there's when we assessed the place, we felt that there was a gap that could be filled. You're correct that there are industrial parks all around it. What's interesting about them is the way that the people working in those parks behave.
Yes.
In our marketing studies, we observe that they travel quite far. Some of them even go home to Alabang and then come back,
Yeah.
or drive in
goodness.
another direction to do their shopping and then come back and then go home to Alabang. So when a lot of ground is being covered and when a hub is already coming into place for other
Yes.
reasons like infrastructure, that's part of why we decided that this would be a place.
Make it more
Especially the
efficient.
silicon
Yes,
chips
yeah.
companies in Batangas. How many silicon chip companies are there? They employ hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah, each
Yeah.
company.
And
each
the
locator.
managers are well paid, and the second to third layer executives are also well paid.
Yeah, it's
And they
impressive the
look
range
for-
of things that are there. That are
And they
in those
look for
industrial
housing that
parks.
is good, secure,
Yes.
and with amenities.
Which is
Yes.
non-existent right now. Even Calamba, there's none.
Correct.
Then
That's
you have golf
really-
courses in Batangas.
Actually, our building will be the first, I would say, mid to high-rise building visible going from Manila to Batangas City. It will be visible from the expressway, and it will become an hub for people who are working between Manila and Batangas Port. As you know, there are big plans for Batangas Port. It will become one of the biggest
Yes.
in terms of.
It is supposed to supplant
Yes,
the port of
that's right.
Manila.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the
At a lesser
facilities,
cost,
but the
supposedly.
facilities are inadequate.
Not yet.
Yeah, but they're working on that. I know that there are already plans, and actually they're already working to enhance the port.
So you already started with Batangas? You already started?
You are, how near are you to Batangas Port?
Around maybe between 40 to 1 hour minutes, and it's all expressway, so not traffic
So
problem.
so far, how are you doing in sales?
Now,
your
in
Batang-
Miramonte is going to be launched most probably in September.
in September.
We
Of
are
this
now
year.
securing all the permits. Actually, we secured already 99% of the
So
permits.
eventually, you will build 7 buildings, low-rise buildings.
No, in Santo Tomas, there are going to be 3 buildings,
Three buildings.
two phases.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
And each building will have 300 units.
more than
And
that.
so far, the sentiment is strong.
Very strong, very strong. Actually, we receive a lot of interest about those buildings, even investors from abroad.
Turnover for your first building would be when?
In general, it's 2 years after break.
18
After
months.
launch.
Yes,
That's-
after groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And I admire you too because you are operating in an environment controlled by conglomerates, diba? Ayala, Andrutan,
Yeah.
JG Summit, ba? Sino pa ba?
SM.
DMCI, SM. They are big. Since they are big, they can do scale, they can lower their price, and they have a huge network of salesmen.
Correct.
So how do you market your units? Through word of mouth, excellent job?
Well, I wouldn't I wouldn't compare ourselves directly to those
Yeah, yeah.
much larger companies. Of course, it's the same industry, but within the industry, I'd say that one thing that we're able to do because of our relatively smaller size is to move nimbly to
You're very
situate
nimble.
ourselves in precise ways in places like the ones that we've described
Yeah.
now. So when we believe that there's a story, that there's a growth story in this very precise place, then we're able
Yeah.
to come in and to develop it,
Yeah.
which is what we believe we did in Cagayan de Oro, and we'd like to repeat that
Yeah.
again and again.
So you are an emerging giant in property. You're a listed company, no?
Yes,
You are now worth what, 1 billion
something
in
like
market
that.
cap, no?
Something like that.
And lately, I think the stock price has been erratic, no?
Yeah, actually, erratic, but going up. The
Oh,
trend
going
is
up.
going up.
Going up since the last 3 months, no?
Yes, but we almost trade. I mean, the price was above IPO price.
Today.
Yeah, but in general, I would say
How much
for
is it?
more than 90% of the time has been traded
But since
higher.
3 months ago, you're up more than 30%.
Something like that.
Yeah.
How much
That's- which is
is
very
it
good,
trading
no?
for? Stock price?
I think yesterday was
6 pesos?
4.2. No, around 4 pesos, 4.2. But our listed price was 3.6. So 3.6 pesos. So
When did you list?
December 7, 2015.
15. And your investors have made money already.
Yeah, they did. Actually, they did.
But
Of course, we watch the stock price, definitely.
yeah,
But
yeah.
one of our favorite pieces of advice that we got in the whole process of listing, which was of course a very tedious process,
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of hard work. One of the favorites was that once you're listed, of course the price matters, but just do your work.
Just do your work,
don't check
yeah.
the price
Yeah.
every 5 minutes. So I think if we do our work and we execute, then
Yeah.
we
can you
trust things
project,
to
in the first quarter, you made what? How much? 15 million, 13 million?
No less. In general, it's seasonal.
3 million? I think 3
yeah,
million,
something
no? 3 million.
between 3 to 4 million net profit because There is
3.6 million, no?
yeah, something like that. Because actually our net profit really increased during third and fourth quarter. But I can say that our gross profit in 2016 was more than 64% higher than 2015.
How much is your margin? 40%?
Around 45% growth.
You have one of the highest margins among developers.
I think it's 89.90
But,
with almost 50 net profit.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why JJ Attention is now
It's
with us.
part
It's
of
in
the
our
board.
board. They will help us to improve
Yeah.
our net profit
Yeah.
margin. But just I would like also to add something when you ask how do we feel in considering that we are in the same industry of very big developers.
Yeah.
We like to say that we are not too much interested in mass producing units.
Yeah.
We don't want to be Toyota, we want to be Maserati, correct?
Maserati. You're a niche market.
We are a niche market, and
Yeah,
we
but
want
you're
to
a
do-
Maserati with the pricing of Toyota.
No, let's say we want to sell a Ferrari with the price of Maserati.
And
Still
with the
a
same
giant.
quality,
Yeah.
expert design,
Correct.
and
Design,
passion,
passion.
that went into the product.
Yes.
But you also do project management, do you?
We
Project
do
management?
we do property management.
Property
We
management.
set up a company called Damiani with another managing partners, also Italians and Filipinos, because we want to maintain Italian quality all throughout our process. So the design and developer is Italian Filipino, the property manager is Italian Filipino, and they provide hassle-free property management for unit owners.
So you will manage the units bought by your
Correct.
buyers.
That's why we
good
have
because,
our foreign investors are increasing from 5 to 11% lately because of they like the fact that they invest, they sign a property management agreement, they forget about the property, and they will just check
foreign
their state
investor,
of
I mean
account.
overseas expats.
Expats,
Filipinos?
overseas Filipinos, even Filipino, because they like to have a recurring
Income.
income,
Yes.
Rental income. Yeah.
rental
Yes.
income, which with
Which you do, which
with
you
no
manage.
problem. We do it for them.
Excellent.
That is really also the key of Santo Tomas project.
Okay, all right, we're going to cut to a short break. You're watching Biznews. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So, gentlemen, future trends in property development. In tourism, are you going to exploit that increasing trend?
That's something that's very interesting to us. We're exploring that now. Opportunities in tourism.
You have some
That-
areas that you're looking at?
Jojo, the real estate industry in the Philippines has been booming for the last 10 years consecutively. Diba? Do you think the boom will continue?
I think it will continue in certain places and in certain ways. I think there's
It will become selective.
Yes, I think first of all we're a very big country, so we cannot make statements like, oh, it's up or it's down.
Yeah.
The boom
very
that
big
many of us
country.
here perceive is influenced by the fact that we're here in Metro Manila, where
Yeah,
there
yeah.
is a certain certain conditions, but the market in the same country but in a different area with a different at a different
Outside
cycle.
Metro
and its
Manila,
growth,
there's
it's
plenty
very
of money,
different.
I notice, and there's so much economic dynamism. You can feel it. There's plenty of money outside Metro Manila.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not just money, but energy, demographic energy, creativity,
Yeah.
and we think that the Philippines, as 100 million going strong, continuing to grow, needs to become a multipolar country.
You can
not
see it
just
in the last bar
Manila-based.
exams.
So,
The top 10 all came from outside Manila for the first time in
that's
history.
right. Yeah, and that's
That
good.
means there's the same
Why
degree
not?
of talent outside Metro Manila
Yeah.
as in Metro Manila.
Yes, yes. But what I'm hoping for, especially our company, given the way that we orient ourselves, what we're hoping for is a kind of culture nationally where that's not surprising anymore.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't the top 10
Yeah.
come from somewhere else? Because Manila is just one point.
Yeah,
And also about
exactly.
culture, I would like to ask Romulo here, how is it doing business in the Philippines? Practicing your profession.
Very good, very good.
What do you mean by very good? That's a very,
Very good
general
to-
statement.
Very good to be an
How
entrepreneur.
many Filipino girlfriends do you have?
No, only one.
Okay. Yeah. What is it that you like best here in the Philippines?
Of course, first of all, I like I like people, Filipinos, Italians, very similar.
Yeah.
I never had any cultural shock. When
Yeah.
people told me at the beginning, you will have one, but actually we are so similar that there is no difference. I
yeah.
would say no cultural shock, and in terms of doing business, it's very business friendly. Approval from LGU, from government
problem.
offices, it's good. The time it's the right one, and I mean, I
And
would
it
say we
also
are
helps
welcome
that
everywhere
your
we go.
partners are named Leviste.
Sorry?
They're a power name in the Philippines.
Of course,
Especially in Batangas.
that's
Yeah.
all.
That's why it makes it easy.
Yeah. The only name that beats Leviste and Batangas is the name Malvar, and he's a national hero. And Joey here has been with government for what, 30 years?
Yeah, on off,
Yeah.
always.
And your
helping.
clan has been in power in Batangas for what, 100 years?
Hindi naman. On and off, on and
Yeah.
off.
And the last general to surrender but then maybe that's a mistake, no? To accept reality was from Batangas.
Yeah, General Malvar, Miguel
General
Malvar,
Miguel Malvar. Yeah.
whose daughter is married to the first governor of Leviste, Feliciano.
Ganun.
Aurelia Malvar,
Yeah, yeah.
my aunt, is,
Yeah.
her husband is
Yeah.
Governor Feliciano Leviste.
And the business are known for talent, premium on education, and public service. Every major event in the Philippines, there is a Leviste. So maybe you are creating an event in the property market. Yeah. Well, congratulations, gentlemen. Very good.
We wish you more power and more success. All right. You watch another episode of Biz News. I'm Elizabeth Lee together with Tony Lopez. He is every Monday at 8 p.m. We'll see you again next week. Have a good night and God bless.